I'm recording. Good. We had to put one of our roosters to sleep, which was such a bummer. And yes, they do that. The vet does euthanasia. And let me just move my light so it's not right. You know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna wear these so there's no glare. Not gonna wear these so there's no glare. We have two roosters, and we had two roosters, and one of them has had an injured leg since he was a baby chick, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse, and finally, and he was getting picked on and just not having a good life, and I've been connecting with his energy for a while, and I finally picked up on the fact that he's done, that he wants to be out of pain, and so it was just hard. So we had to dig a hole, put him in there after we picked him up from the vet. It was sad. Anyway, the kids loved him. He was very sweet. Our other rooster's kind of mean. He's all right, but but he protects the chickens. Life in a homestead. But it's interesting because my kids were really upset. I was sad too, because he was such a nice, kind little soul, and it makes you think a lot about life and, you know, um, and death. And but when I was connecting with his energy, I felt him just asking to be set free. And before, I'd been connecting with his energy, and he wanted to live, and it changed. So that's kind of one of the deals of living with animals and domesticated animals, that is. So I'm in, it's a little bit dark in here. I usually have lights, but I just didn't get around to setting them up except for one. So forgive me for the darkness. You can see I have like a few little lights behind me, but um and then we went swimming. It was a beautiful day here. So my kids and I went swimming late this afternoon. It was still have wet hair from that. So anyway, I wanted to talk this evening about the future and future timelines. Yes. And the reason I wanted to do that, and hopefully those of you on Facebook can hear me, because sometimes the connection out here, I'm in my cabin, isn't the best, but usually it somehow ends up working. I've been teaching a class, this Intuition Development 101 class, and some of the other night, somebody was asking about, well, somehow it came up about what's going on, on the earth, and or is there going to be this financial collapse, and is there going to be, everything falling apart like has been predicted for a while and it hasn't happened. And it really got me thinking, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I just wrote an email about it and I posted about it. For those of you who may have seen that, you probably saw. But those of you who didn't, I'll just talk about it a little bit, because I think there's this, there's so many of us have been conditioned to believe that there is one future and that's it. And, when we go get intuitive readings, people will still ask, even me, they'll ask when I do Akashic Records readings, like, what's going to happen? Am I going to ever do this? Is this ever going to turn out? And part of my mission in life is to re-educate people and help them like take their power back and not kind of give their power away to somebody else to tell them what to do or what's going to happen. And that's so important for us as humans, to really start taking back our own personal agency in our lives. Because, and I wrote about this a little bit in my book, Tools for the Awakening Soul, which came out a few years ago. It was a whole chapter on the a few divine laws. I don't know if I said 5 laws, but there's many divine laws. But this is what I believe, and what I've heard about, read about, picked up on, that there's higher sources, sources connected to the source, the creator, to God, that guide us, that are helping nurture us or shepherd us along. And this is about soul contracts. This is about our own higher self, pre-incarnation, setting things out that we want to learn, things that we want to work on. But we also have free will. So there's that. Let me just back up. We have fate. That's what often is called fate, destiny, predestination. Yes, some things are destined to happen. they're in the contract, they're already been written, but not everything. A lot of times we have, I mean, in many different smaller situations, we have free will. We can make a choice, and we can, the energies might be flowing in a certain direction. We might keep running into somebody. We might keep getting told to read a certain book, or there's just a lot of things conducive to helping us move in a certain direction, but we could ignore it. We can just be like, nope, I don't want to do that, and just keep not seeing the signs, or going against the flow. And the same is true. So there's both things at play here. We can, we have choice. The same thing is true with the earth and humanity. There are multiple ways things can play out. Whenever I do readings for people, I'll tell them that all I'm doing is just reading energy and noticing where the energy is flowing. So, it's been predicted by many intuitives over the years that the energy is flowing towards this beautiful new earth, towards this 5D way of living, that the earth herself, Gaia, is moving into higher states of consciousness, into fifth dimensional frequency, which is more like light versus physical form. And that we as humans are being asked to, or being invited to, also move into that state. And so that can sound a little scary. Like, what does that mean? Are we going to just disappear and become light? I don't think that is going to happen anytime soon. If it does, it'll be a long time from now. And in fact, it may have been something that, like what Jesus did, right? So that's a whole other topic. But we're moving into these higher states of frequency. And so in terms of like what's going to happen in the world, is there going to be a financial collapse? Is there going to be all these, disasters? Is there going to be, like parts of continents breaking off and floating into the ocean, with, climate change, or whatever people want to call it? Some of those things could happen. Yes. I think there's some of the things, there are weather changes. We're seeing that, due to the poles shifting, from what I picked up on. Yet, is it going to be is it a bad thing? And that's the thing. It's like all about perception. Do we view it as bad, or is it just what it is, that the earth is going through these shifts and changes, like kind of like getting too big for some clothing that's gotten too small for you, and you were kind of trying to get out of the clothing and wiggle out of it. That's the energy that I read about the earth when I go in the Akashic records. And that's really what we're being asked to focus on, is that there's these things that are naturally happening. And yet we, with each intention, with each thought, each action, each word we speak, we are creating what ends up happening for humans on Earth. So as if we're going to be, if the majority of humans stay in resentment and fear and anger and jealousy and competition and all those things that aren't necessarily, healthy for us, maybe, it will seem like an apocalyptic way of living, or being. But if we're focusing on forgiveness and empathy and compassion, understanding and love for each other, for the earth, for all sentient beings and creatures on Earth, then we bring with each action that we take, with each thought, which is the energy we give out into something called the morphogenetic field. We're bringing the earth into that 5D way of unity, consciousness, of love, of the Age of Aquarius. So it's being created, like the energies are moving in that direction, but it's not definite, because we're humans are using our free will choices to keep us on that path, the ascension path, or going into like the lower, a different timeline that might be more apocalyptic. So it has not been written, it's being written. That's why it really does matter that we do our inner work, as within, so without, right? I mean, people might think, oh, I just want to, I don't want to do my inner work. It's too hard. Well, please do it for our sake, right? Like that, the energy that we give off as we heal, conflicts with family members, as we forgive people, as we forgive ourselves, as we learn to be kind to ourselves, this energy we give off helps the entire planet, if that makes sense. So Something, the morphogenetic field, just real quick here, is like dropping a pebble in a pond. So if I drop a pebble in a pond, the ripple effect, and something on the other side of the pond would feel that ripple on the water based on my action. That's how the morphogenetic field works in the Akashic records in terms of past and future. So in any action we make now, or in term, and not just action, but thought, word, those are like things where we're putting out energy, where we're creating something, right? Has an effect on not only on our ancestors and our past lives, but obviously on our future. So it's interesting to think about. It's kind of something to wrap your brain around a little bit. But it's really important, don't worry about it, right? Like, don't get too nervous about, oh, I have to do everything, like just do your best, right? Of course, we have times when we're pissed off and we're scared, that's normal, but just do your best. If you're here listening, don't worry about it. You're doing it, right? So, all right, well, let's do a little meditation to kind of glimpse into the future. That's what I said we were going to do tonight. Glimpse into our future timelines. And I was trying to decide how we're going to do this. Because usually I take people and looking into their future in the Akashic records or into like deep, hypnosis. So it's going to be interesting how we do this in a very short amount of time. So I think, I don't know, I'm gonna make it up. We'll see. Maybe I'll take us into our Akashic records somehow. So if you don't want to go into your Akashic records, you might not want to stay here for this. But the Akashic records are the best way to view stuff. So, if you don't pick up anything, don't worry. It's just because, normally it takes getting pretty deep to like do this sort of thing. But listen again, listen again after you've taken some time to meditate and bring in light, because we're going to do a quick accelerated version of this. So we'll see. Okay. All right. So close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths in and out. And as you do, as you breathe in next, just imagine you're amplifying light in your heart. And really, with every inhale, just expanding that light that's always there, making it glow bigger, making it glow brighter. And as you exhale, imagine that light beginning to flow through your body. Just like if you were to put a drop of pink food coloring in water, it eventually just pretty quickly spreads through the water. And the whole glass of water, all the water in it becomes pink. Just imagining you're like this glow in your heart is spreading through your body. We are mostly water. And and that drop, like the analogy we're using here, is imagine that something's being dropped, this golden light, though, from the highest source and through the top of your head. And that light from the highest source, from the essence of God, the creator, all that is merging with your light, which is the light of God. You are that light. Just feeling that connection of light. And it's flowing more strongly now, circulating up and down through your body. Feel every cell in your body like a sponge soaking up this light at the deepest level you can imagine. And it's flowing more strongly now, washing away anything that doesn't belong in your body. Flowing up and down like a river, spilling out through your hands and feet. It travels up through all your energy centers, through your spine, up through the third eye, up and out through the top of your head, pushing out into the space above your head, into the higher chakras, and then like a waterfall, this light cascades back down again from where it came, down through all of your chakras, down through your legs, pushing out through your feet, a few feet out, bottom, through the bottoms, into the lower chakras, into the earth. Imagining still that you're connected to the earth through cords, through the bottom of your tailbone, anchoring you in, grounding you in as you connect in with this light. You're in a pillar of light, moving in both directions. And as you're in this light, imagine this light is flowing out now through your heart. Your heart is opening like a laser beam, like headlights being turned on in your heart. And there's a beautiful beam of light cascading like a waterfall that goes horizontally out, spilling out, this mirroring, reflecting pool through your heart. And you realize that you can actually travel, your consciousness can travel on this reflecting pool that, like a slide, begins in your heart. And so you begin to take a ride, traveling on this light beam through your heart. And as you embark on this journey, you feel yourself passing through tunnels, through portals, into deeper spaces of higher consciousness, of the Holy Spirit, of all that is. Sliding down, continuing, passing through different colors, feeling unconditional love surrounding you, knowing this is safe, knowing this is for your highest good. Archangel Michael with you, Archangel Metatron entering in to help you open the book, your book of life. And when you feel you are ready, you slide on this beam of light up to these gigantic doors, huge golden doors that just open for you. You enter in these beautiful hallways, gilded, majestic space that goes for miles in each direction, and yet there's a container. And you look up and you look down, you look all around, and just get used to this space. Sitting down, finding a place to anchor yourself. Breathing into this energy. Feeling unconditional love of many beings of light. So happy that you're here. And they know you are here for a specific purpose today. And that is to look into the future. And with that intention in your heart, begin to describe why you want to look into your future. And so we'll take a moment to do that. And then asking the question as you describe why you want to look into your future, just mentally thinking it as if you were talking to a friend. You'll then end on the question, what do I need to know about my future? How, what, why questions help the energy flow. And you can choose other ones. How is this future helpful? What steps can I take to get there? Anything you want. But let's take a moment focusing on the energy of why you're here and describing it and then asking the question, what do I need to know about my future? Let's take a moment. And just do that. And the masters, the beings of light who are here in your Akashic records want me to remind you that this is one potential they're showing you. What is in the strongest, highest, and best timeline of my future? So we'll rephrase that. What is in the highest and best timeline of my future? And they say, yes, that is good. So let's take a moment, focus on the intention, asking again, and then notice what flows into your mind through the energy of your heart, feeling a light guiding you, an image, a word, a feeling, just following the energy. Notice what comes in. What is in the highest timeline of my future? Continuing to ask and describe any other questions you like. How can I get there? What else do I need to know? And begin to just move along further in this slide of light. Maybe walking now, if you choose, or you can imagine you're swimming in the light or coasting or floating. And see if as you move along this timeline, if you get glimpses of yourself in the future, or of scenes, or of people, or of situations around you, being guided by light, by the energy of love in your heart. Knowing that sometimes there are things that are not shown to us if they're not for our highest good. So just trusting that you are being shown what is for your highest good here. And so just taking a moment to give thanks for this experience. We're going to begin to come back here, honoring the space, honoring yourself, the sacred space. Knowing you can come back here anytime you choose into your Akashic records. Acknowledging any of these loving beings, the council of elders, any ancestors, any other spiritual teachers or guides who have been here. And you begin to exit somehow out of this place. Maybe coming back the way you came in, out through the doors, or maybe in some other way. blessing the space, giving thanks. You're taking a nice deep breath in. As you do, begin to close the energy. Imagine that somebody's placing a nice blanket on you. You can even put your hands on top of your head and feel yourself coming back down, floating back down towards the earth, closer and closer over the trees, landing back onto solid ground, touching your body, beginning to stretch out. If you'd like to bring your hands in prayer position to your heart center, we're going to close here by saying, and so we do acknowledge the forces of light who have opened this space for us. And we give thanks and humbly close the records. And so it is. Amen. All right, taking another deep breath, coming back into your body, stretching out. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So make sure you drink some water. We just did quite an intense opening in a very short amount of time. Hopefully you all are okay. That was an interesting experience. So we went a little past time, but if anybody wants to share what that was like, you can type it in the chat. If you have any questions, you're welcome. I don't know if any of you were able to view any future timelines. I was getting a glimpse of some things. You know, we just went into our Akashic records in a very interesting way, not the way I usually go in. But it was, you know, I was there. I was like telling my guides, the masters at least, like, we're just here. I'm just here to show them something. We're just checking it out. We'll come back again. Like, all right, that's fine. Oh, it's Tina, much deeper and longer experience than expected. That's beautiful. So yeah, I'm here on Zoom. Hello to those of you here on Zoom, and I'm on Facebook. So I'm in two places at once, if you're wondering who I'm talking to. So yeah, I mean, write down what came up, and if you all have my book, I have the prayer to enter the Akashic records in my book, and the Tools for the Awakening Soul book. And if you want to do that again, or you can learn how to read the records, which I usually teach classes on how to do that. Every so often I'm teaching that to the intuitive development class in a few weeks. Intertwining of realities, interesting. Yeah, so that was you know, I think one of the things to you know, when we see these future timelines is to often ask, like, well, how do I get there? Like, how can I, you know, make that happen? Because again, it was one of the highest, like a highest and best timeline. So usually it's just, you know, keep doing your inner work, keep quieting the mind, connecting with light, and it will unfold. So yeah, I hope that was helpful in some way. And I always love trying new things. So that's why I like to do these meditations. So I hope you all have a nice week and a nice Memorial Day long weekend. I'll be back here in a few weeks on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays for another meditation. And let's see, what do I want to tell you that's coming up? I'm working on this hypnotherapy certification program that I'm going to be offering in September, teaching people how to be hypnotherapists. So that's a huge undertaking, because I've just learned how to teach this to people, and it's a lot to create. It's going to be a 9-month program, but I'm really excited about it, and I'll be sharing that soon. That if anybody wants to learn how to offer hypnotherapy as part of a business or something like that, incredible skill to be able to really help people transform their lives. And if you're not sure, and if you've never experienced hypnotherapy, I highly recommend it. Of course, I offer hypnotherapy and many other people do too. So anyway, stay tuned for that. All right. Have a nice evening. Thank you all for being here. Take care. Many blessings. Bye-bye.